And we are coming at you live with session 5 of our Neverland, Nevermore campaign. It has definitely been a hot minute. A lot of, IRL stuff has been going on, but we're gonna go ahead and have another session. A little bit of a small crew today, but that is fine. Might move things along a little quicker. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. As always, who would like to give the recap for a free 6 this session?
Try and give us a good recap.
Would you like me to tell you where last session started?
Yes, please. That would actually be really nice.
All right, so last session started after you had gotten back from saving the creature's village from the choo-choo swarm with the skeleton keys they gave you as a reward.
Okay. I do not remember this beginning bit very well.
So you came back with the keys, you had captured the golden choo-choo, which you were very excited about.
Yeah, the choo-choo got out, and we went to check the cave,
Yep.
and the choo-choo was not there. I think there was a hole in the wall.
Yeah, there was a hole in the ceiling.
All of the choo-choos were gone. There was a hole. Benjamin was very distressed and distracted.
You used the wind mana to do your check to try and find them, and something bad happened.
And I failed miserably.
No.
And we lost all of our wind mana, and I lost my mana using privileges. That was really bad. I don't think Thomas needs to make life any harder for us because I exist.
Well, you didn't have that much wind mana because it's risky anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal. You lost maybe 5.
Yeah. And then Benjamin left the cave and he kind of looked for them. He went to the spot where it led out, but he couldn't see them from there and kind of got really sad. And then someone came and cheered Benjamin up. After that. What did
so trying to find who Faith's character is.
Alex?
Alex, yes. Alex came out and she found a little bit of a trail leading toward the fairy village.
And that helped to cheer Benjamin up, and then we went off towards the fairy village. I think I asked the grandmother fairy if she had seen the slimes, and she hadn't.
Yep.
And then we kind of looked around for the slimes a little bit, couldn't find anything. And then I think we settled in for the night. And that is when Benjamin got jumped by the slimes and nearly got killed by them. But Benjamin loves the slimes too much to hold that against them. So after May kind of rescued him, and then he flung sand and magically turned it into glass, I believe, at the gold choo-choo.
I know you got it in a jar somehow or another. I don't remember if you used magic, though.
Yeah, I jarred the golden choo-choo and then named it Zelda, and we moved on. Also naming a green slime and a red slime Link and Ganondorf, respectively. And then we kind of got our good nights of sleep, and we went out and had a delicious breakfast. And of course, growing up in Grilla the Kind's orphanage, pretty much doesn't matter what you could have fed us for breakfast. It would have been the best breakfast we ever had.
She gave you hot sand, and you're like, what? You heat the sand here? We have cold sand back home.
Grilla the Kind was basically just like, I don't even think it needs to be edible. I just need them to stop complaining about their stomachs as much.
Eat your tree bark and moss.
Yeah, eat your tree bark. It's nutritious. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah, and then we had our breakfast, and we kind of gathered up and got ready for the next quest, and we went to the library. And then while we were there, we noticed that the quest to do with the baby seal kidnappings had updated, and now the quest was about seals kidnapping pirates in revenge for the baby seal kidnappings. And so now that May had finally noticed that was actually up on the board, there was just no choice. That's where we were going, and that's what we were doing. So we did our research and got all ready, and then we went to the temple and teleported there. And we kind of like prepared. I made us like some waterproof sort of diving suits. Alex tried to bring a zap stick, and I was like, please don't bring the zap stick into water. And she was like, I'm gonna do it anyways. I was like, you're not bringing the zap stick into water. And she was like, but I want to.
Well,
it's like, I refuse to have you toaster bath us.
Well, she hasn't had a chance to go in the water since then, so no guarantees.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't. A little bit of a spoiler, we didn't really end up needing the diving suits that much. They were good for cold weather suits, which they were diving cold weather suit combos, but we did not get to do too much. I don't think we did anything underwater in this one.
You didn't need them yet.
Yeah, and then we moved through the blizzard and no, I don't even think it was blizzarding. We just kind of moved through the snow, and eventually we spotted a seal.
Well, the seal spotted you.
True. We got spotted by a seal. We announced our friendly intentions, and they brought us to the village where we met Skipper, or Sarge. Was it Skipper or Sarge?
I don't remember. He's Sarge Skipper. Skipper Sarge.
Yeah, Skipper Sarge Seal, who just, while he's talking, he does muscle flex poses. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah, he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow somehow on his white fur and chomps a cigar the whole time.
Oh yeah, and we met up with him, and we talked to him, and asked if we could question some of the pirates they captured. May went in there, and her adorable powers somehow outclasses baby seals.
Yeah.
But it's also May, so what were we expecting? But she managed to convince me to tell her what was going on and like why they were there. And she did promise me she wasn't going to tell anyone what Smee told her. She did almost immediately end up telling literally everyone afterwards, which just poor Smee. Smee's little heart. And then, with that, we were like, so it definitely sounds like the pirates aren't kidnapping, so let's investigate around. And we decided to go to the Penguins, and they had like a great water park type stuff, like crazy sort of stuff. We sent May to do investigating while myself and Alex laid low. And May met a penguin, and May and the penguin chatted, and like May asked, like, do you know anybody who doesn't like the seals and that sort of thing? Then we got turned on to the Grimchin. We got turned on to a man named Grimchin.
A penguin called Grimchin. A green penguin.
What? Oh yeah, a penguin. A green penguin called Grimchin. So we went up, and we kind of walked, like, we took our little boat, or iceberg boat, whatever it was. It was something. I don't think we ever properly established what it was.
It was a little iceberg boat thingy that has, like, a magic motor out the back.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. And then we made our way over to Grimchin's,
well, the boat you took to get from the seals to the penguins. The Grimchin is actually just on a mountain overlooking the penguin village, so you just walked there.
Oh, I thought we took the boat there. Sorry. And so we just went up the mountain, and we then kind of knocked on Grimchin's door, and he was all angry and annoyed, and we were a little discouraged for a moment getting in, especially May, our communications specialist, and like basically the face of the group. I'm Hannibal, Faith's BA, or Murdoch. I can't decide which. Alex. And then May's definitely Faith.
There you go.
And then, like, May's a very nice girl, so she was a little, like, discouraged by Grinch being so mean and, like, being very hard to interact with. And then I just gave Mei the suggestion of just also hate everything like he does. Bond over hating everything. And that worked splendidly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, that worked amazingly, which meant that we had to, much to our chagrin, go inside Grimchin's house.
Yeah. And you saw that
Grimchin's
Grimchin appears to be, despite calling himself a penguin also, you at least would have picked up on the fact that he's definitely a polar bear who's just turned green by all of the slime in his house.
I was probably, I'm not going to say this with confidence, but I think I was going to get to that later. Yeah, Grimchin is a green polar bear, and he's not green because he dyed his hair green. He's green because of where he lives, which should immediately make you panic, because the inside of Grimchin's house is the nastiest place to ever exist.
Hey, he was a good host. He offered you liquid vomit.
Yes, good host. I appreciate that. Yeah, just nasty place. So horrible. Like, even getting into here, he ended up dumping garbage on us while we were trying to get in, and that made Tina, like, panic and lose her cool.
No, that happened when Grimchin started chugging the liquid vomit.
I'm pretty sure Tina got trashed outside as well and also had some problems.
I think Mei did. But yes, before bonding over hating everything, he dumped garbage on you guys to try and make you go away.
Yeah, and someone just had a bad time with that.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Probably.
Because I have 4 points of bad dice.
So that's you probably rolled poorly on both of those stress rolls.
Oh yeah, and then later, Grimchin, like, breathed horrible, nasty Grimchin breath into my face, and even with all my cool, I couldn't withstand that.
Yeah, after taking a bite of a raw garlic.
Yeah, that was just awful, and yeah, that's how I lost all my cool that I had built up over several sessions. Because the Grimchin is just so unfathomably nasty. And then we ended up, Mei very expertly bonded with this horrible excuse for a creature. And then,
don't be mean, he's just
ended up,
misunderstood.
I refuse to believe that the Grimchin is misunderstood. If you try and redeem this villain, I will never forgive you. This man is just awful in every way of existence, and is corrupt to his very core.
He's gonna move to the Dreamtime.
Liquid vomit and garlic breakfast.
He's gonna move to the Dreamtime and be the person cooking you breakfast along with Marine.
I will not stand for that.
I don't want to eat anything he makes.
I will become the Dreamtime landlord and banish him.
So yeah, Grimchin's awful. Mei bonded. She finds some stuff out, though.
He revealed his plans to, like, evil reverse Santa, and he was using baby seals for his reindeer. And after we caught on to that, I almost gave us up the jig by, like, suggesting to go out and, like, rig up a buoy, like a radar buoy, to make it so it couldn't detect him on the flight. And he was like, how would you know about the radar buoy if you didn't, like, come from the seals or something like that? Like, it made him suspicious.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I just noticed it on the way over and figured it could be helpful for your plan. And then...
You sabotaged his machines.
He bought that. He bought that, fortunately. And then I rigged up one of his devices to at completely random intervals, and out of completely different devices do, like, a cuckoo bird thing to just drive him crazy. And then we left and went back to the SEALs, and we assembled SEAL Team 6 with Sarge and his guys, and I helped out to a certain extent. I didn't get, like, a particularly good role, so we had to come up with something that I didn't do properly while trying to, like, help out and give them plans and, like, a detailed layout of Grimchin's base.
Yeah, which is that you drew it in crayon.
Yeah. It was definitely crayon, and it totally wasn't brown. Anyways, it was definitely brown crayon. Trust me, bro. I gave you a brown crayon to draw the map with.
Yeah.
And then we got on the raid, and the SEAL team, despite being powerful, is just so adorable. The raid was awesome. And then we rescued the baby seals, and we brought them back. And I think we were having a celebration with the seals.
Yeah.
When we left off.
Yeah, so as you left off, you guys hadn't chosen what you wanted your reward to be. You guys decided you would wait and think about it. So you have not been rewarded for this mission yet. But you did have your party while forcing Grimchin to watch. And you did get some information out of Smee. You mentioned it, but you didn't say what it was. Do you remember that?
It was crystal caverns or something that possibly had to do with Blackbeard's treasure.
Yeah, so they had been looking for something that they had gotten a map for, and they were headed to the crystal caverns, which is mostly underwater iceberg, but the part of it that is visible above the water looks like a giant skull made out of ice. And you also found out that that is where the narwhals live.
Unicorns of the sea.
Yes. All right, so that does catch us up now. So party is kind of wound down. Grimchin has been taken off to a holding cell awaiting seal justice, which you imagine will be far kinder than it sounds, but also somehow worse.
We came in on the seals like tickling Smee to death when we first got here.
Yep. And so have you guys kind of thought about what you want your reward to be, or do you want to continue postponing that?
Kind of feel like we should wait. Partly just because like we might find another chest that needs skeleton keys, and we could just ask for skeleton keys. They can be used for pretty much anything important, right?
Anything that needs a lock to be unlocked. Can always just ask for a favor.
Yeah, we'll save it for just leave it as a favor, and we'll find a use for it someday.
All right, Private. Well, if you ever need the seals, we're just a call away.
Thank you, sir, Benjamin says with a salute, and is he offering a shake or just...
Oh yeah, he's got his flipper out for a shake.
I'll give him a shake.
Yeah, once again, somehow impressively bone-crunching.
And then Benjamin's gonna kind of like regroup with his friends, and Benjamin's gonna ask, do you guys want to see about the Crystal Caverns now, or maybe save that for another outing?
I'm hungry. I'm sleepy.
I think we should go home. I'm not doing too great.
Also, you do notice at some point during the party that I wish I could remember names. Tina just like disappears in a blue flash, but you recognize it as being the same thing that has happened to Horatio and Teddy, so you know that she's probably just back in the pyramid.
Benjamin's gonna say, yeah, it's probably time to head home. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
So we all group up. Is it the same way in as out? There's no place like home?
Out, you pick a spot on the map. Going home, yes, you all hold hands and someone says there's no place like home 3 times.
Benjamin's gonna grab hands and do the there's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no place like home.
All right, the familiar sensation of weightlessness grips you as the world around you fades into a blue mist, which then quickly fades, and you find yourselves once again standing in the very center of the Temple of Elements, and sure enough, sitting in a pillar of light or suspended in a pillar of light, just like Teddy and Horatio, you see Tina. She seems to be sleeping. And you see the motes of mana appear, kind of floating out of your various chests and congregating in the center, ready for you to assign wherever you would like. Maybe put 3 back into wind.
The party's injuries.
True. All right, so Faith, you needed 4 points?
Yeah.
All right, so
I need a point.
Okay, then I will delete this group of 5. Anyone else got any stress damage?
Yeah, I need 1.
All right. That should do it. All right. So I moved 3 into wind. I feel like you guys probably want to have at least a little something there.
Yeah.
That leaves you 9 points to assign. Do you want to just do 3 in each? Or do you want to put a little bit more into wind? Because you've got plenty in basically everything except wind.
Let's see. What would be... If we drop it down to 2 and everything else, that would get us investing 6 in wind.
Okay, we could do that.
I'm just, I do not have using wind mana privileges right now. I am traumatized.
Yeah, but that's the only way to boost your connection rolls.
Maymay's for, right? I don't ever need to use contact. I can just have Maymay do it.
That's true. I like animals. I like people. I like talking to them.
Yeah.
Especially like animal people.
Animal people are the best.
Yeah, just wait till you go to Catgirl Island.
So we're back in the temple. Elena? No, that's not right.
Alara, your
Alara?
fairy friend?
Alara. I am so sorry. It's gonna take a while for me to fix that from Elena to Alara.
It's all good. I need to eventually get you guys little entries in the journal for the NPCs that you know.
So I assume Alara is there to... Was Alara on the mission with us?
Oh yeah, she's been there the whole time.
Oh yeah. We're just very independent now. Alara doesn't have to chime in too much to help us.
Yeah.
So Benjamin's gonna be like, well, sounded like everybody was ready for a good night of rest, so I guess we'll head back.
All right, everyone heads back. You have a nice hearty soup and I don't know, soup and bread and some hummus.
That sounds really good.
Enjoy that dinner that Maureen has made for you. Yeah, as usual, she's like, make sure to get plenty of protein. You're still growing like weeds.
Benjamin is eating so much. Benjamin loves Maureen's food more than anything else in the world.
Well,
yeah,
and
then...
I'm
eating up too. Obviously, I'm kind of shaken though.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
doing
feeling
better now, but I'm probably still shaken.
Yeah, that would make sense. But you are definitely feeling much better after you've had just a minute to calm down, and some of the mana has been able to, rebuild your psyche and your body.
Yeah. Like, I'm definitely going to be fine by next morning, but that was some nasty smell.
Yep.
Admittedly, as much as Benjamin thinks that Maureen's cooking is his favorite thing in the world right now, that's just like right now, like the moment he's done eating and goes up to his slimes are becoming his favorite thing in the world. And then he's going to go and study magic, and then magic's going to become his favorite thing in the world. He has a lot of favorite things in the world.
Hey, he's just excited. In fact, when you do return to your room, you notice that the slimes had been right at eye level when you had kind of set up their jars initially. You're pretty sure that either you're taller or that shelf got just a little bit lower.
Benjamin is going to start excitedly trying to figure out which one it is by comparing his height to every object inside and outside his room.
All right. Anyone else want to do anything before calling it an evening?
Maymay
I'm
is
good.
already asleep at the table.
Fair enough. So Marine and Alara carry Maymay, wrap Maymay in a blanket and carry her and Mr. Snuggles gently up to her little bungalow and sets her in bed.
So has Benjamin determined whether he's grown or the cabinet has shrunk yet?
You're fairly certain that you're taller than you used to be.
Benjamin is very excited. He's going to share this with Alex, who is awake. Alex, I'm taller now! It happened so fast! Look how much taller I am! He's gonna, start dancing up next to objects.
Didn't know we could ever grow this fast. We always used to grow so slow.
I know, grow the kind would put bricks on our head!
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't let you grow too big to crawl in chimneys that will sweep them out, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Benjamin, after sharing his joyous discovery, is gonna go and share it with his slimes, just chatting with them.
Yeah. The red slime burbles happily. The blue slime kind of just is a little ditzy. You never can't tell what he's looking at. He just always seems like he doesn't have much focus. And the golden slime still has angry eyebrows.
Benjamin knows the golden slime will probably come around eventually.
Definitely.
And if it stays angry for too much longer, he might release it. He doesn't know. Benjamin can't decide whether if you love something, you hold on to it until it suffocates or you let it go.
Yep. Go ahead and roll technology for me.
Is this anything my tinker can apply?
Not really.
I got a 5.
All right. So you notice that you're pretty sure the glass that the of the jar that it's holding the golden slime is like slightly thinner than it was.
Benjamin is gonna try and think for a second, and then he's gonna come up with a genius idea. He's going to make a gigantic, super thick fish tank.
All right, go and
And,
roll
so-
technology with Tinker then.
Please don't fail miserably. Hey, I got another 5.
Nice. All right. Pretty solid fish tank. It does take most of your night if you plan to finish it in one go, though.
He doesn't need to finish it in one go. He'll just get a good amount of progress.
All right. So yeah, you get some progress until your excitement finally is overcome by tiredness, and you wrap up along with the rest of them. Wake up the next morning, another hearty breakfast of this one is fried eggs with some sort of green thing that looks and smells like bacon. If you ask about it, she says it's bacon weed. And as well as some more porridge, probably just oatmeal with various fresh herbs to add a bit of sweetness and zing to it, and large glasses of some sort of pink, very zesty juice that is reminiscent of orange juice, but with a bit more kind of depth of flavor to it. Kind of like pomegranate or mango-ish.
Benjamin, of course, will devour. And then after that, probably Benjamin's gonna try and go up and finish the fish tank.
You can. Alara, though, is going to say, well, no reason that we need to go back to the library today if we're planning to go hit up Crystal Caverns. Or we could always just find another quest to do. What are you guys feeling like today?
Benjamin, he's gonna stop and think for just a second and say, we should probably check the quests and see if there's anything that seems like really urgent. But if not, we should probably hit up those caverns. I think they'll have something cool.
Yeah, we probably do want to do them fairly quickly, though, because the pirates are after them, and I imagine the seals will have released them by now.
Yeah, we probably should hurry, but let's check if there's like something super important. I don't think there will be, but you never know.
All right, so you shrink down as usual and head into the library, and checking the quest board, you see that there's one for a dolphin diamond that was spotted off of the Emerald Coast. You see Captain Hook has a new map that seems promising. I think you know what that one's about, though. Someone has started stealing underpants in one of the Indian villages. There's one of the forested areas where gnomes are kind of very populated. The gnomes seem to be acting up recently. There's another one about a giant goose that is on the loose. Another one about people that have been going missing near one of the lagoons. There is a report that there are too many greelings in the giant footsteps. Someone reported seeing a vampire near Twilight Falls, but nobody has heard from that person since. There's a friendly pack of werewolves who have requested help with and the only detail given is sensitive matter. There are reports that someone is counterfeiting pieces of 8. Gumdrops and candy canes have started sprouting on bushes and trees in one of the forested areas on one of the smaller islands. A lost boy seems to have gotten stuck out in space and is requesting help. And there is also reports of a talking cat and his recently deceased owner's butler are fighting over an inheritance.
Definitely sounds like we can still head up Crystal Caverns.
Yeah.
Wild goose. Wild goose.
But Maymay,
have
if
a
we do
feeling
the
that-
goose first, the pirates might get whatever's in the caverns.
But if you have a giant goose, you could ride it into the pirate base and take whatever they find.
This is true.
Will
Geese
we
are pretty
see a
scary.
goose at the caverns?
We might not see a goose, but I do know there might be narwhals there.
Oh, narwhals. Okay. I'm in.
All right. So would you guys like to do any research before setting out?
So I would like to research the Crystal Caverns.
All right. Anything particular about them or just in general?
I think I'm going to try and figure out like what sort of hazards there might be. Like, is it prone to cave-ins? Are there weird crystals that do odd things?
All right, go ahead and roll
is
academics.
one of the crystals actually a portal to wherever Alice went, Wonderland?
All right, go ahead and roll academics.
I got a
Alright.
4.
That is a 4, which I believe is a mostly positive result. Yes, mostly positive result, but you must also include a negative or humorous effect. So a few things that you do find out is that, yes, you do have to be careful. There are often cave-ins of giant ice stalactites and other things in the cave. It's also very hard to navigate because it is clear crystal ice in water. So even just figuring out where the walls are and not swimming directly into them can be a challenge. You also know that the narwhals that live there are none too friendly. What else do you find out?
Benjamin figures out that there are actually indeed portal crystals. And that will be the humorous negative effect, because now Benjamin is going to think he's falling into another land.
All right.
He's gonna, like, slip once, and he's gonna be like, "Oh god! Wonderland's taking me! Save me!"
Anyone else?
Benjamin's gonna share with the group.
Yeah, we're just going to assume that any research people share, unless you say otherwise.
I would like to research if narwhals are friends with hullabaloo beasts.
All right. Go ahead and roll academics to research narwhals.
4.
All right. So also a mostly positive result. So you find out that they are not particularly enemies, but that the narwhals don't seem to get along with many other creatures, and that does include hullabaloo beasts, though they don't have much of an overlap in habitat, so it's not that common. What else do you find out about the narwhals?
I find out that narwhals, this variety of narwhals, is nocturnal.
All right.
So that might throw a monkey wrench into things, because we are not nocturnal, and they will be very upset with us if we wake them up.
Yep. All right. Would Tina like to do any research?
No, I'm good.
Not Tina.
I'm okay.
You're Alex.
Yeah, Alex
Mary
is
is
gonna get
Tina.
confused for Tina going forwards for so long.
I'm just terrible with names. That's the real problem.
I mean, I keep thinking Alara is Elena, so we're in the same boat.
All right. Would you guys like to hit up the treasure cave to get any gear?
I would definitely like to hit up the treasure cave.
All right. You head over. Anyone who would like to acquire some gear, go ahead and roll technology.
And I'm gonna try and tinker something up.
All right.
Oh, help me.
All right. So you decide to make. Well, what were you planning to make?
I'm gonna try and make some glasses that would help detect like the minor variation from like clear ice to air to water. That way I could at very least sort of see where the reflective ice cave was.
All right. So Benjamin creates a series of goggles for everyone and claims that that's what they do.
Benjamin full-heartedly believes such, so he is going to put them on underneath his diving suit.
Yep. All right. Anyone else grabbing any gear?
No.
Maymay wants a snorkel for Mr. Snuggles,
All right.
just because it's cute.
Go ahead and roll technology.
6. Double sixes.
Nice.
We got a tricked out snorkel.
Oh, yeah. Now you get him a snorkel that comes with a little backpack that has like a propeller in it, so you can really zoom around underwater.
Oh, fun. Like the full wetsuit. It's like integrated in the wetsuit. It's got the oxygen tank.
Yeah. So you're able to just like use Mr. Snuggles as a backpack and zip around underwater.
Love it.
All right. Well, now having prepared yourselves, you head down back to the Temple of Elements and finding the same spot on the map by the I assume you're going back to the Seal Village. You could go back to the Penguin Island as well if you preferred. It doesn't appear the map shows any way. They're pretty even. It doesn't appear the map shows any way to actually get to the Crystal Caverns. In fact, interestingly, you don't see anything for the Crystal Caverns on the map.
I trust this. We're gonna go to the Seal Village.
All right.
I agree. We should talk to our friends, the SEAL Team 6.
All right. So you teleport back and this time end up right in the village. The seals welcome you once again as conquering heroes, and Sarge is like, glad to have you back.
Good to see you, sir. Benjamin is, of course, going to do the standard greeting a superior officer salute.
Well, what can I do for you?
We were hoping to borrow a boat to visit the Crystal Caverns.
Of course, no problem. You can grab the same one you had yesterday if you'd like it.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you, and we're going to head off.
All right. It's not too far from the village, so soon enough you are on the boat and heading out into the open ocean.
What would we roll to navigate our way there? Because I'm pretty sure none of us actually got a hold of a map.
That would be academics.
Laura's navigating us.
Cool, I'm pretty good at academics. Hopefully I don't fail us.
You want to use wind mana about it?
I'll use a water mana.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can just use your water mana this time.
Yeah, 4 dice is pretty good for this sort of thing. I'll use water mana.
All right, I went and pulled one out of academics for you.
Cool, 3 6s.
Sadly, that does not get you anything extra, but that will earn you 2 extra mana now. And
we
If
will-
we get 2, that's a good trade.
yeah.
And we will navigate our way there. Unless something interrupts us, I think we just get to the Crystal Caverns.
Yep, so
So
you're
times then.
fairly easily able to go there. You remember a little bit from what the penguins and the seals had told you about the Crystal Caverns before. Did you ask them any more questions about it, or are you just headed out?
I'm trying to remember if we did ask anything extra about it, because if we didn't, I think I would have on the way out.
Yeah, you didn't. So let's go ahead and do a quick confessional. So as you're scanning the horizon, trying to figure out how to navigate to the Crystal Caverns, we cut back to you sitting on the bed, your feet kicking in the air, holding the golden choo-choo, who appears to be trying to bite your finger through the glass. Just ignoring it as you go on your little speech.
As we were pulling up, I'm really glad I asked the seals what they knew about the Crystal Caverns, because they actually told me some pretty useful stuff.
And now we cut back to you talking to Sarge.
Yeah. Sarge, do you have any tips for the Crystal Caverns or know anything we should keep an eye out for,
Well,
sir?
first off, would just be very careful if you're really planning to go there. It's a dangerous place, and those narwhal are none too friendly. It is also a bit tricky to find at times. Right now, reports have it a bit northwest of here, and he kind of shows you there's a little topographical map made out of snow somehow, and he shows you a location
Very
off.
green and tactical.
No, it's pink and tactical.
Oh my gosh, that is adorable.
So he says it's right around here where our last reports. It's not exactly stationary, so it could have moved since then, but that was only a few days ago, so I can't imagine it would have drifted too far. Rather odd place, the Crystal Caverns. It's an iceberg, but unlike most of them that melt fairly quickly after they leave the kind of cold zone over where we are, this one is often seen wandering around the entirety of Neverland.
Interesting. That is really fascinating.
Yes, no one has ever really gotten to the center of the Crystal Caverns. There's rumors that there's something quite impressive there. No one knows exactly what. I've heard various different stories, from some sort of powerful ice crystal to some sort of ancient wizard, or who knows what.
Crown with large red gems in it.
Quite possible. Nobody's certain.
Do you know of any, like, particular dangers, or, like, have you ever been there? Visited it?
Not personally, though a few of the boys have. One strapping young lad attempted to get to the center of the cavern. He came back all blue and almost frozen solid. Said he kept hearing singing.
Thank you, Sarge.
Of course, be careful out there.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we cut back to the current moment. You're navigating. Oceans are fairly calm. Blue skies up above. Thankfully, your insulating gear is keeping you warm despite the cutting wind. And soon enough, you see there off in the distance what looks to be a crystal skull floating on the surface of the ocean. And moored up next to it is a small sailing vessel. This one is not an iceberg with a magic motor. This one is a wooden boat.
Benjamin is, he's not gonna come in too fast, but he's also not, like, trying to hide or anything. He just doesn't want anybody to think he's trying to ambush them. He's gonna pull up over nearby the island and see if he can, like, see a pirate lookout or something.
All right. Are you avoiding the like sightlines of the boat, or just kind of sailing up?
I don't. It's an interesting question because I don't know how friendly we are with the pirates. So I'm just gonna assume, like Benjamin would, and think that we're friends with the pirates. So he's not gonna try and avoid it.
All right. So as you are sailing up, you see a glint of something up in the crow's nest. And as you approach closer, you can see that they have raised the anchor and, appear to have all men on deck. And you hear a rather unimpressive voice trying to shout as loud as possible over the wind and waves. Identify yourselves, strange vessel.
Benjamin is gonna say, it's Benjamin, Meme, and Alex.
Oh, the children who saved us from the seals. Stand down, men. We're good. Lower the anchor. So, as you are drawing closer, you can see Smee's bespectacled face peering over the railings.
Benjamin's gonna wave to him. He definitely thinks me as a friend. He's completely forgotten about what happened when Peter dropped him off on Hook's ship.
You know, Smee says, "Welcome, young ones. Are you here to try and explore the Crystal Caverns as well?"
Yeah, I heard there might be portals to a faraway magical land in here.
Oh my, that's rather
I want to
worrying.
meet a nice narwhal.
Good luck with that. They've already stabbed 3 of my crew. They are none too friendly.
Benjamin's gonna nod a little bit while doing holding his chin like he's thinking. He says, "We'll be careful, but May really does like animals, and she's pretty good with them too. We might be able to make friends with them."
Maybe.
But May, be careful, okay?
I'm always careful.
Apparently, they've
Plus,
already
what could
poached
happen?
these
We have
nice
Mr.
treasure
Snuggles.
hunters.
If you're all planning on going inside of the Crystal Caverns, would you mind keeping an eye out? 5 of my crew went in there and they've been gone and it's been 6 hours. I'm afraid they might have gotten trapped somewhere.
Benjamin will say, "Yeah, we'll help them if we see them. And honestly, we'll look for them."
Thank you.
He's obviously a little conflicted because he did come here for adventure and treasure, but he does want to help.
It'd be a great weight off of my mind. I'm afraid we may have to go back to Captain Hook empty-handed, which, well, won't be fun for anyone, but the cavern seems to be rather resisting any of our efforts to get any deeper.
Keep a lookout for your guys. It was nice seeing you, Smee.
It's good to see you as well. I must thank you once again for sorting out that bit of confusion with the seals.
You're very welcome. It was reward enough to bring that awful creature Grimshin to justice.
Yes, even being near him during the festivities afterward was unpleasant.
Benjamin's gonna wave goodbye and lead his crew into the cave.
Alright, so how are you getting into the cave?
What's the entrance like?
It appears like there might be a few options. You can swim into the skulls, or not. Well, you could swim. You could either sail your boat or swim into the mouth of the skull. You could try to get in through the eyes, or you have been told that the majority of it is actually underwater, so you could look for an entrance there.
Benjamin's gonna think for a minute, and then he's gonna be like, "Hey, May, do you think you could do a scouting run under the water? See if you could scout any pirates near the surface?"
Aye, Captain.
Alright, so you do the classic little, fall backwards off of the boat thing, all suited up, and go...
And I'm holding my nose very cutely.
Exactly. Even though you, your nose is covered by your goggle mask thingy that Benjamin made.
You still gotta do it.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, Benjamin made this last adventure and not this one. The goggles are still probably going to be a problem, but the diving suit won't.
Yep. And you head underwater, and the first thing you notice is that, indeed, the vast majority of this, it's not an island, but it's large enough it might as well be a small island once you get underwater, is underwater. So the skull is just the very tip of the iceberg, as they say, And down underwater, it rapidly grows in size, both in width and height. And you see a massive just area of frozen ice. Well, it's ice, so it's not frozen, but you know what I mean.
Well, it is frozen. It's
Well, it's
just
frozen water, not
implied.
frozen ice.
Fair enough.
Frozen ice, it's just that cold.
Exactly. And you notice that it kind of shifts over time, like little growths of ice jut out, break away, shrink, etc. The exterior of the entire thing seems to be in a constant just shifting of size and mass.
May spot any pirates?
Not from the surface where she currently is, or well, near the surface.
Do I spot any narwhals?
It is daytime, right? You guys didn't come here at night?
Correct. It's the morning still, I think.
All right. You do not spot any narwhals.
Man, I really want to see a narwhal.
Are you going to explore further, or are you just going to mostly stay near the boat?
I am going to go kind of crazy. I'm going to try and dive a little bit further down and hold my breath for a while.
Well, your snorkel thingy with Mr. Snuggles gives you air, so.
Oh, that's true. I already forgot that had an oxygen tank.
Yeah, so you're set. You
Suit
can dive as
itself
long
has
as
a
you
little bit
want.
of oxygen capacity.
So yeah, I want to dive down, maybe 30 feet. That seems reasonable. And do like kind of a wide circle around the boat.
Okay. So you head down a bit further and start swimming around. Go ahead and roll. What would it be? Probably academics or athletics. I'd give you either one.
Academics. 6. Let's go.
Nice. All right, so that's 2 more mana. So you do indeed, as you are exploring, you spot a bit of a darker patch, and swimming somewhat closer, it appears that there is some dark figure of some kind that is, for all intents and purposes, hanging upside down from what appears to be an entrance. What else do you find with a 6?
Oh man, I don't know. Can you describe the fella hanging upside down more for a 6?
Bulbousy, and he has some sort of a spike coming out of the end of his head.
Oh my goodness, it's a narwhal. Let's think. Can I see what's on the signpost that he's hanging from?
He's not hanging from a signpost. He appears to be hanging from the roof of an underwater, like, cavern entrance.
Oh. We're looking for an underwater cavern entrance, aren't we?
You are.
I'm gonna swim over to him and say hello.
All right, so you swim up and say hello, and he doesn't seem to react initially.
Excuse me, Mr. Narwhal.
groaning noises, and then, quite contrary to what you would expect from, the narwhals that you had seen in, picture books in the library windows that Grelid wouldn't let you go inside of. He starts unfurling what appears to be a pair of wings from around his body. And then
goodness.
you see a pair of red glowing eyes slowly open. And then he looks at you and says, "Oh, who is it who wakes me up at such a horrible time in the morning?"
Hi, my name's May May. What's your name?
My name is not important, little girl.
Then what do I call you?
You may call me... I have not thought of this before. Perhaps you may call me Pointy.
Okay, nice to meet you, Pointy.
Less nice to meet you. Why is it that you are disturbing my slumber?
I don't know what a slumber is, but I like slumber parties.
I do like parties too, from time to time. Especially if there are good libations to be had. And he licks his lips as he stares into your soul.
I think I like libations too.
Oh.
Can you tell me what's in this cavern that you're hanging out next to?
Mostly ice and more ice. Water, a few pockets of air.
Nothing else?
Oh, there are other things. Things that go bump in the night.
Scary things, it sounds like.
Indeed.
Are you a scary thing?
I have been known to be scary from time to time.
Huh. Are you trying to scare me?
Not at this moment, no.
Oh, that's good, because it wasn't working.
I did not think as much.
So, if there's nothing but scary things, why are you sitting outside of here?
Well, I am tasked with guarding this entrance, so that little disturbances like you do not get in.
Oh, so I'm not allowed in.
Well, I would have to try and stop you if you were to go in.
Now, see, why would you be guarding us from entering a place which has nothing in it?
It doesn't have nothing. This is where we live.
Ah, okay. Well, it was nice meeting you, Spiny.
Yes, yes. Now go away before I get thirsty.
Okay, I'll come back with drinks.
Yes,
And I go
come
back to
back
the
with
boat.
friends.
So I'm assuming Grelid the Kind has read us vampire stories with the express purpose of trying to scare us, right?
Almost certainly.
So
Yeah.
I know what's going on here.
Yeah, if you don't do all of your chores well enough, then Dracula will drink your blood.
So yeah, I'm gonna return to the boat and warn the others about this hiccup in the plan.
Vampire narwhals. That's unexpected.
And because narwhals are nocturnal, these vampires are active in the day. Is that true?
It doesn't seem to be, considering it is currently daytime and he was asleep when you went down there.
Oh. Yeah, that is true.
You
I don't know
did
if that would be better or
disturb his
worse.
slumber.
I wonder who invited them in there first, anyways.
It's a good question.
It was probably abandoned.
Maybe. This is a real problem. I don't think we have anything other than residual garlic breath. Uh, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm scared of vampires. I don't want to mess with them. That sounds like a bad idea.
That does seem scary.
Maybe we go in one of the top entrances, because I think that's where the pirates went. And we try and save the pirates. And then we be very quiet, and maybe it'll work. All else fails, we run away really, really fast.
Okay, if you think that's a good idea.
Benjamin's gonna rally up some courage. We're gonna land and, well, which way does it look like the pirates took inside?
Unclear. Their boat is moored outside, so they could have gone in any of the entrances. You could ask Smee, though.
Yeah, Benjamin's gonna go back to the pirates and see if he can find Smee to ask him.
Ah, you're back already. Would you like?
Yeah, we just wanted to know.
Would you like some ale?
I don't think I'm allowed to drink that.
Ah, more's the pity. Then what can I do for you?
We were wondering which entrance you guys took in. At least the pirates that went missing.
We've tried several. We tried swimming down, but those entrances seemed guarded. We went into the mouth, but as soon as we did, we got swarmed from all directions. Our last attempt, we went in through the eyes.
Thanks for that. I guess we'll head into the eyes now. Do you have something to help with vampires?
With vampires? No.
Mei thinks she found one of the narwhals, and he was very vampire-like.
Well, that would explain why whenever they stab us with their little horns, we end up so drained. You see one pirate who looks very pale, kind of just wobbling around on the deck. He looks very lost.
Well, drink plenty of fluids, and sunlight's probably your best friend.
I had noticed they hadn't attacked us during the day.
Benjamin is going to gather his crew to enter the eyes. Not the greatest confidence for this mission, but he's sure they'll make it through somehow.
All right. So you go...
I don't know if they live in there. I'm scared.
We could go back to the Grimchin's lair and get garlic, maybe?
Maybe we should just search for the wild goose.
But we already gathered up to go here, and it sounds like there's something really cool in here.
Okay. I'm easily convinced.
All right, so you're fairly easily able to make the hike up the skull. And the eye is a massive gaping cavern. It must be nearly 100 feet tall at the very outside, and it goes quite deep into the skull, so far that you can't see. Well, I guess it's mostly made of ice. You can see. There's enough light filtering through the ice, though it is fairly dim. And you can feel a slow breeze that seems to alternate between going in and out of the socket.
Anyone else like this thing's breathing?
Benjamin's just gonna ignore that call out, and he's gonna look around and see if he can spot any narpires
All right, go ahead and
or
roll.
bam walls.
Go ahead and roll either academics or athletics.
I will roll my academic. Mostly good, but a negative of humorous effect.
All right.
Hmm.
You do not spot any Vam walls. I think I like Narpires better.
Yeah.
You not spot any Narpires.
Narpires.
Benjamin does almost take a tumble in when he misidentifies a step and accidentally takes 2 steps at a time, but he does barely manage to catch himself as he makes his way down.
Yeah. No, you do slide like 10 feet further into the cavern before you're able to gain your footing.
These goggles may not be helping as much as he thought they would, but he's convinced that they're working, so he's going to keep them on. And he's going to keep making his way in. And, of course, he's going to stay on the lookout for narpires.
All right. You continue some ways into the socket, and as you're going, it slowly gets steeper and steeper until you hit a point you're fairly certain that without anything to keep you from doing otherwise, you will just start sliding uncontrollably downward.
Benjamin is conflicted because he wants to just kind of leave a piton or like a rope or something, but he's not convinced that that will work and that a narpire won't just cut it. But Benjamin's gonna be brave. He's gonna use magic to make a very strong ice loop type thing for him to slide rope through.
All right, go ahead and roll academics.
Oh, a 5.
Nice. I got you another mana.
And it's not like a climbing piton type loop. It's like a groove that goes down in the ice, and then there's ice that's left in the middle, so you'd kind of run rope through it and then tie it around.
Makes sense.
And he's gonna hook some rope to that and start slowly making his descent, and of course always keeping an ever watchful eye out for the narpires.
All right. You go a ways until you run out of rope.
How much rope did I use to get down this far? How deep am I?
That is a good question. What kind of rope do you have? Just like normal hemp rope kind of rope?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we'd have.
All right, then you probably have 100, 150 feet.
I do not like this entrance. But it does feel like our best option. Benjamin's gonna use the rope to kind of like make his way back out, and he's gonna be like, I'm gonna go ask Smee for some more rope.
All right, you
So,
go. Smee
Benjamin's
is
gonna-
more than happy enough to offer you some rope. You come back again, now with much more length. I'm gonna assume you went as a rope so that you could all carry rope.
That does sound like a good plan.
All right. So now you have significantly more length of rope, and it does continue to get more and more steep until eventually you are descending a rope straight down. You can see water below you. You seem to be descending into a very large, dark cavern. At this point, it is too dark to particularly see the walls of the cavern around you. As far as you can tell, you must have gone low enough. You are probably underwater level as well at this point, despite the fact that you seem to still be in a pocket of air for the time being.
Seeing underwater without waking up the Narpires is going to be a problem. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit brighter in general down here because of the whole, see-through crystal caverns, but that's not working out. I don't have any good plans to keep going. I just have bad plans.
There's still plans, though.
Benjamin's gonna have the group make their way back up the ladder or rope. He wants to see if he can make some alterations to the goggles.
All right, I'm going to need athletics from everyone who wants to try and climb back up the rope.
Athletics, don't fail me now. I got a 2. I am doomed.
I got a 5.
Slash and then R.
Yeah, I was figuring that out. I got a 5.
All right. So, May and Alex can climb back up if they would like. Benjamin, on the other hand, you slip and go careening down into the water with a loud splash. Go ahead and give me a 2 dice stress roll as you hit the water. All right, that is a 2. So you are frazzled. Lose 2 dice from an appropriate skill or 1 die from 2 skills.
Okay. I'm gonna try and look around and see if I've awakened any Narpires.
All right. You look around, and it is still too dark to tell, especially now that you are also underwater. I'm just going to assume that all of you have the ability through your suits to breathe underwater, though, so there is no concerns over oxygen.
Okay.
Benjamin is going to make a teeny tiny light with magic.
All right, go ahead and roll academics.
Yay, I got a 4.
All right. So you bring a light in and try to keep it dim. However, in this pitch black darkness around you, even the dim light seems unbearably bright, and you see as it starts to catch on the crystal and walls around you that it bounces and magnifies, and the entire cavern is suddenly lit up in a very dim blue illumination, and you can see both on the roof of the cavern in the air above you and in various places in the water innumerable shadowy figures hanging from
no.
the ceiling, but they do not stir.
It's very afraid.
All right. So, Alex, Maymay, are you climbing back up, or are you going back down with your friend?
I climb back down to help him up, but I encourage May, you should keep going and get to the top and wait for us.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah. Because you're a little small to help him up the rope.
Does have Mr. Snuggles, by the way.
Yeah. But what is Mr. Snuggles gonna do? Throw you up onto the cliff? No, throw you up.
All right, Maymay, you start climbing up when you hear the creaking of the rope, and then suddenly the rope comes disconnected. You don't know if it was cut or a knot gave out or what, but you also go careening down into the water, though from not quite as high. And you are now all in the water.
Ah! Who did
I'm
that?
going to hopefully. I'm going to hope that the Narpires still aren't awake.
They are not. Even though you do occasionally hear a oh, 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 or a blood.
Benjamin is going to very quietly whisper to the rest of the group, I think our best chance is to try and go down and either find one of the underwater entrances or just find the treasure or something. I don't think we can go back up.
Okay.
So, Benjamin is going to try to stealthily swim down.
Alright. Everyone give me athletics to try and swim stealthily. Would you guys like to
I would like
spend
to
some
burn
points?
2 fire mana to amp my athletics.
Alright, anyone else?
I would like one, please.
Alrighty.
I think I'll be good.
I got double sixes again.
Nice.
That's twice tonight I've got double sixes.
Only that gave you 4 mana.
I know.
Alright, that's 1 from David's 5. 2 more mana for Maymay's 6.
I think you should have spent mana.
Probably.
Alright. So it goes well for a while. And you swim down some distance. Are you keeping the light on, or what are you doing with it, Benjamin?
We do need to see, so I'm either gonna try and like dim it a little more, or if I can't do that, I'm just gonna keep it on.
Alright. So you dim it slightly, less of the cavern is now lit up, though it does continue to just catch on every bit of crystalline ice below the water, so it seems impossible to particularly hide it. And then you make your way down and toward one of the sides where you see another entrance, and you start swimming through it when Alex notices that hanging from the ceiling nearby is what appears to be a pirate.
That's not good. Guys,
Is this pirate
I think
moving?
you need to know this.
So looking at the pirate, he seems to be very pale. He has his arms crossed across his chest and is hanging upside down from the cavern's ceiling. And he seems to be perhaps sleeping.
So, like, is he particularly stuck in the roof?
Nope.
Would it be, like, hard to get him out?
He seems to somehow be clinging to it with his tootsies.
Uh-oh.
Benjamin is going to try and use his academics to see if he can tell whether he's been narpyrified.
All right. Go ahead and roll it.
I would like to use a water mana as well.
Alrighty. Yes, he is definitely a vampire.
So, we're just gonna quietly move along.
All right. So you are doing your
See if
best
there's anything
to.
we can do for him.
You're doing your best to quietly continue swimming through, and unfortunately, Alex's 2 comes back to bite you all, and Alex ends up kicking a piece of ice, which goes floating off and hits another wall, which then starts to crack, and then that hits another thing, and you soon hear behind you quite a bit of commotion.
Benjamin's going to look back.
You see you see innumerable red glowing dots behind you, and are hearing Transylvanian muttering. Who disturbs our slumber?
It was that guy over there, I point at a random shark out in the ocean.
Oh, the meals have delivered themselves to us today. Come, my brethren, let us feast.
Okay, we're dead.
Run!
Benjamin, before he starts swimming as hard as he can for his life, is going to try and basically turn his little light into a flashbang real quick and throw it behind him. But he is making sure everyone else is trying to swim forwards, and he's going to whisper to them to close their eyes for a little bit.
All right, go ahead and roll academics.
Close my eyes.
And I am going to use a water mana.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I got a 5.
All right, got
I'm
your
breaking even. That's all I can hope for right now.
Yeah, got your mana right back. All right, so you throw it back behind you, and you hear much hissing and gibbering. Oh, my eyes! The horrible light of the day star! I curse you!
And we're just gonna try and get to an exit as quickly as we can.
All right, so you go swimming as quickly as you can. I assume you summon another light so you can see where you're going.
Yeah.
Zoom, Mr. Snuggles, zoom!
Yeah,
So we're gonna
May
grab onto May's little legs.
That's probably smart. I was gonna say May immediately outpaces all of you. So yeah, you make your
I grab Benjamin's legs.
You make yourselves a nice little chain and go zipping forward. For some time, you hear commotion behind you, but it slowly gets quieter and quieter. As you go forward, you notice that despite your very effective cold weather gear, it starts to actually start feeling cold even through your gear. But eventually, after going for some time, you're fairly confident that you are no longer being followed by Narpires.
Take a second to like stop and like regroup. Benjamin's gonna say, I mean, I feel like if we follow the cold, we'll find the treasure.
And you do hear faint sounds of singing coming from somewhere further in.
Doesn't the singing make people go crazy? Is this a good idea?
It's gonna be inconvenient to try and find a way to plug our ears, isn't it?
Maybe. The singing definitely does not sound sirenish, though. It sounds somewhat unpleasant.
Well, then,
I have to know what it is.
yeah. Benjamin's gonna try and tinker up a way to get earplugs people can use if we desperately need them.
Okay. I guess technology. You can use tinkering if you'd like.
Let's just hope I don't get another one of the rolls I seem to be getting these sessions when I don't use mana. Hey, I got a 5!
Alright. It's another mana. Go ahead and describe your result.
So, Benjamin figured out a way that you can use a bit of the helmet, like, inside the helmet, so it doesn't, like, compromise the stability or anything, to act as earplugs, and he's going to teach the entire group how to do it, just in case we need earplugs.
Alrighty.
And then we're going to follow the cold and the singing, because I assume that's leading to the same place.
It does indeed seem to be leading to the same place. As you get closer, you can tell that the singing voice seems to be that of a somewhat raspy old man. Though you can't quite make out the lyrics yet.
I am afraid. I think I know who this is. Although I'm probably wrong and just freaking myself out. Anyways, we're just gonna keep going.
Alright.
Trying not to awake any more Narpires or like horrors.
So there seems to be a notable lack of Narpires as you have gone further in, and they don't seem to be pursuing you any further. And as you go a bit further on, you find yourselves coming out of the water into a large pocket of air. You can see ahead of you blue light that is quite bright. In fact, there's quite a few lights of various colors that seem to be shimmering and refracting off of the ice around you, seemingly from somewhere further on.
Benjamin's gonna try and be stealthy in his approach.
All right. So you all attempt to be stealthy. Everyone, go ahead and give me athletics to do so. Anyone who wants to sneak
I'm gonna
anyway.
use a fire mana.
Okay. That's 5. You get it back.
Yeah, just to explain why I'm burning so much mana, fire, like, athletics was one of the things that took a hit when I had that fall, so I desperately need this because I refuse to be rolling ones.
I'll also use a fire mana, actually.
Okay.
6 again.
Darn.
Let's go.
At least we can always count on Mei to make us some mana.
Exactly. All right, so that's 2 more mana for the 6, and all of you are pretty successful at being quiet. So you sneak stealthily forward toward the light, and as you're getting closer, you can now hear the voice more clearly. There is a kind of off-key disco song playing, and you can hear the voice going, "I'm the nice king, I'm nice king, yeah, yeah, slap my booty, pop, 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 pop."
We are in so much danger. I think I know what the treasure we're here for is. Is it even worth it at this point? I don't know. Do we want the Ice King's crown? I happen to know some lore stuff about it,
Dun, dun, dun.
and I don't think we want it.
Yeah, and I've held a song with the lol, so I also don't think we really want it.
Come on, guys.
I mean, it
You know what
probably-
time it is. Adventure
It's
time.
adventure time. We need to get the crown while we're here. The question is just, how do we get the crown? I don't know. I feel like you can't just like knock it off his head very easily, or maybe you can.
I think it has been knocked off of his head like plenty of times in the show. You just gotta get close to him. That's the hard part.
I could just snipe him with magic.
You could try.
That's probably
I
gonna
could
end
zap him
terribly.
with
He's
my
a pretty
zappy
powerful
stick.
wizard. I don't know. I'm very scared. I like first the Narpires and now Ice King. I don't know. I feel like I'm out of my league here. Look, we should get the crown while we're here. Let's try. What's the worst that could happen? It's not like we can die.
Very true. Worst that happens is you get teleported back to the Temple of Elements.
And have to spend a lot of mana fixing stress injuries.
Maybe Mei will keep rolling 6s.
Yeah. Benjamin is going to whisper quietly his plan to his fellows. And that's that Mei and Alex are going to try and sneak around. Well, what's the area with the Ice King like? Are we even there yet?
You're not even there yet. From what you can tell, though, there seems to be a large cathedral of ice ahead of you. Well, more of a castle, really.
Okay, we're going to keep sneaking our way there. We need to at least be able to see the Ice King before we can make plans.
All right, so you continue toward the castle. You see there appears to be only one entrance at ground level, if you can call this ground level. You're already underwater. There's a large moat of what appears to be liquid ice around the entire thing, filled with ice gators. And there is a drawbridge across it into a central entrance into the castle. There appear to be snowmen flanking the gate.
And I was actually kind of hoping for penguins. We're gonna see if we can see a penguin. Like, we're gonna try and sneak around and see if we can see a penguin.
You do not.
Well, there goes the plan to have Gunther help us do stuff. Since Mei
You do
Mei's an
realize you
expert
should be
in
more
animals.
afraid of Gunther than you should of Ice King, right?
Yeah, as much as I say I know lore stuff, I don't actually know a ton, considering I just watched basically a video on the creation of the crown.
Yeah, no, you should be more afraid of
Don't
Gunther
worry,
than of
Ice
Ice
King
King.
is very soft. Ice King is very nice. He just happens to be obsessed with girls, and the crown told him into what he is.
Well, I also know why he's obsessed with girls, and I also know his relationship to Marcel, and so on and so forth. I know some
Marceline?
stuff. I've never actually watched
Marceline!
Adventure Time. I should at some point. Adventure Time is actually a good show.
It is an
Yeah,
excellent
although
show.
Marceline, not Marcel.
Okay. I haven't watched it. You're lucky I know who Finn and Jake are.
Watch a bunch of it as kids.
I didn't really
Wasn't
watch any of it.
involved.
Not really.
All right, enough talking about Adventure Time. What are you doing? This isn't Adventure Time. This is Neverland.
Yeah, and so we never know how crazy Neverland Ice King is gonna be. Let's just try and make friends with him. Maybe we don't even need to steal his crown. We can just make friends with him, and then at some point, when we need the Ice Crown powers, we can just be like, "Hey, Ice King, can you help us out?" That sounds like a better plan.
There you go.
May, people person, you're up. We need to figure out how to befriend the Ice King.
You want me to talk to him?
Yeah?
Why don't we zap him?
How about we don't?
Well, we need to
He
get
doesn't
in
do
first
that yet.
anyways, but, like, if you decide that you really don't want to be friends with him after we get in there, we can decide that. But first we need to get in there, and I think the best way is to try and become friends.
Okay.
Not to mention, who knows? Maybe he's actually kind of nice.
He did, in his song, say he was the nice king.
Okay, I don't know what to do, to be perfectly honest. I have not seen Adventure Time.
Well,
I mean,
first
I've
you're
seen
gonna have to
some
go
episodes.
in the castle.
Just introduce ourselves in a friendly way to the snowman guards and pray that everything works out. And that May's contact is good enough that we don't all die.
Okay, I'm gonna knock on the door.
All right, so as you approach the gate, you see the two snowmen on either side of it. One of them seems to have his head on kind of crooked, so he's got this like sideways face. But they just kind of smile and wave at you as you walk up.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Snowman.
They wave back. "Arr!"
I'm glad we didn't immediately go to murder.
Yeah, it's
glad
not
so
because someone
far.
talked us out at all. Talked us out of it at all.
I mean, I was the one who talked us out of it because I was like, I don't see a good way to sneak into here. Let's try and be friends to get in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the snowman waves at you.
Benjamin's gonna wave back as we walk in.
All right, as you approach, they open the doors for you. You can see that you are on the first floor of the castle. The singing and the lights seem to be coming from further up above. Throughout the castle, you see ice sculptures of various things. Most of them are penguins or different strange-looking women, like women made of bubblegum or the hot dogs. It's like a ghost one. One of them looks like she has toast with like a fried egg on her hat.
Well,
the lumpy princess, Bill.
Yep, there's one
Or
that
is that
looks
the
like a
bubblegum?
cloud with a weird face. but it's been turned around so it's not so that it's facing the wall.
So I guess we'll make our way up to meet the Nice King.
All right. So as you proceed, there are other snowmen. Some of them stationary. Some of them seem to be slowly trundling around, doing who knows what. All of them are quite friendly, though, and wave as you approach. You make your way up a staircase until you find yourself by what must be the entrance into the room where the Nice King is. And opening the door, as it creaks open, you hear the singing stop, and you see a figure who's a rather odd-looking guy. He seems to be extremely emaciated, but wearing loose robes to where he somehow looks very round. He has a massive white beard that goes almost all the way down to the ground, and on his head is a golden crown. As he stops singing, he turns toward the door and goes, "Gunther, is that you?"
Benjamin's gonna sort of wave and be like, "No, actually, I'm Benjamin. I'm visiting."
Never should have gotten my hopes up. Gunther never will come back, you silly fool. Bad wizard, stop being sad. And he smacks himself in the face. Your guest smacks himself in the face some more.
It's nice to meet you. What did happen to Gunther?
He and the other penguins said I was too crazy and that I should go away, so I did.
I mean, your snowmen seem kind of nice.
Yes. I've put a lot of effort into them. Well, to be honest, mostly because I hate chores. And yes, my Ice King voice is terrible. Live with it. I can't do voices.
I couldn't either, so you're doing as good as I ever could. Benjamin's gonna be like, "Yeah, I know how you feel. Chores aren't fun."
Exactly. Why spend my bachelorhood doing boring chores when I could be having fun dancing and singing?
Yeah. It's kind of cool down here. We heard that there might be cool stuff down here, so we just came to see and check it out.
Oh, I've got all kinds of cool stuff. Got my crown, I've got my wizard eye, I've got my ninja gear.
Benjamin's gonna be like, "Ninja gear?
Oh,
I like
yes.
ninja gear."
I was extensively trained in the art of the ninja. And he does some very awkward ninja moves while he wraps his beard around his face like a mask.
Benjamin does kind of like this guy. Benjamin is gonna be like, do you know of any non-vampire pirates still in the caves?
Yeah, I didn't know there were pirates in the cave. The last pirate who came into this cave was old Blackbeard.
Oh, we've been hearing a lot about him. Did you know him?
I did. He was an impressive fellow, big as a bear, strong as a mouse. No, that's wrong.
That's cool. Did
Big
he
as a
leave
mouse,
something?
strong as a bear.
No, that's not quite it either. Yes, he did actually leave something. He left his treasured eye patch. I've been using it to cover my wizard eye.
Cool. Do you know what Blackbeard's treasures might do?
I don't know.
Do you know where they might be?
Well, I know what one of them is. It's right here, wrapped around. And once again, he pulls the thing out from under his jacket. Wizard eye! Yeah, every time he said wizard eye, he's pulled this, like, really crazy looking eyeball on the end of a necklace out that is just like this bloodshot eye that is randomly twitching as it looks around in different directions. And there is, in fact, an eye patch wrapped around it.
Is an eye patch really a treasure, though?
I mean,
Is
it
it
could
magical?
be.
It might
It's a
be
very
for him.
cool eye patch.
Yes, Blackbeard said I was to keep it safe until someone worthy came for it.
Oh, that sounds like a
What would
quest.
someone have to do to be worthy?
I have no idea. Perhaps
They
we should
have to
ask the
make
Wizard
an
Eye.
Could it be that they have to make an even cooler eye patch for the wizard eye?
Ooh, now you're talking. But what could be cooler than this eye patch on my wizard eye? And every time he says that, he pulls the thing out.
I love this so much, by the way. This is amazing. Cooler than the eye patch for the wizard eye. What if we made a wizard eye patch for the wizard eye?
Ooh, you're a smart lad. I never would have thought of that.
So, Benjamin is going to get into his little pouch of scraps and materials from his crafting projects, and he's going to try and make something.
All right, go ahead and roll technology. And yes,
I'd
you
like
can
to
use
it
tinkering.
on a
Okay.
yeah. Just to push it up a little bit. I want to succeed at this. I want to give him a cool thing. There we go. Hey, I even made a mana back.
That's a 6. All right, 2
So
mana.
I'm gonna make. Basically, it's just an eye patch, but
There's
it's
a
like
wizard hat.
purple. Yeah, but it's also like purple with like little stars on it, as well as like the Mickey wizard hat, just like strapped onto it.
Wow, that is way cooler. And I thought this creepy skull was neat on my wizard eye. And he pulls it out, and yeah, there's this like leering skull on the eye patch. Well, that
Benjamin's
certainly
gonna
makes
give-
you worthy in my book, tradesies.
Benjamin's gonna very gladly give him the wizard eye patch.
All right. So he pulls out his wizard eye once again and pulls off the eye patch. Everyone, please give me a 3-die stress roll.
I am doomed.
Yay.
No.
Hey!
At least I don't have any cool to lose.
That's true.
You said it was 3?
Yeah, 3 dice. Take the whatever the lowest you roll.
2.
All right. So Maymay, you are going to lose 2 dice. Benjamin is going to lose 3 dice. You've already lost your cool, so none to lose. And then Alex.
I got a fall.
Yep. You will take a -1 penalty to your next roll, but no stress damage.
Cool.
All right.
Benjamin
So
is barely
as
capable
the
of functioning at this point.
as the eye has the eye patch removed, it does the classic Eye of Sauron, I see you, as it seems to stare directly into all of your souls simultaneously. Alex is like, I don't have a soul. I don't care. Whatever.
Alex stares back.
Right? Like, she's the abyss staring back. But yeah. But then after a very short time, it is only exposed very briefly. The new eye patch is slapped on. You feel yourselves able to breathe once again, and seeing the distress of Alex, who is now foaming at the mouth, twitching on the ground. And Maymay, how have you reacted?
I am not. I'm like 1,000-yard stare, nearly catatonic, just like in shock.
Okay. Oh.
Not sure how to respond.
Yep. Oh my! I'm so sorry. I forgot. I've been alone so long. I've forgotten what my wizard eye does to mortals. He goes over to Alex and tries to help. It doesn't work, but he tries. There, little guy, as he pokes your chest. You'll be all right. I'm sure the wizard eye, and he pulls out the wizard eye, as always. Effects are only temporary.
So, how long does it take for Benjamin to recover?
Less than a minute. At least enough to be, like, conscious again.
Yeah. Benjamin kind of, like, shakily gets up. He'll, of course, stow Blackbeard's eye patch in his pocket. But before he goes, there's something he absolutely must do. That is, he holds up his hand and sticks out his pinky, and he's like, "Friends?"
Oh, I'd love
and
to
he's
be. I would love to be friends. And
Benjamin is gonna weakly smile as they do a little pinky shake. And Benjamin is very happy to have made this new friend, but Benjamin also can barely stand and desperately needs to go home.
Yes, I am very sorry. Well, these sorts of things happen around me. I understand why the penguins cast me out. If you ever do see Gunther, tell him I miss him, though.
Benjamin says, "Will do, and also we'll come to visit sometime, I promise."
I would love that. And next time, I promise I'll keep my wizard eye covered.
Thank you. I'm so glad you like my eye patch. Also, do you think you could find a way, if there are any pirates still trapped in the caves, to help them get out, as long as they're not vampires?
I can certainly try, and I can also get you a nice, easy way out past those narwhals who live in my rafters. Or, what are we calling them? Narpires? The narpires that live in my rafters. Here! And he just pushes 2 hands out and goes, slide! And the ice reforms itself into a slide that seems to just go straight out, and there is water running along it that would push you out.
Benjamin is gonna go, "Thanks, man. It was super nice meeting you. You're awesome."
Thank you. Nobody's ever said that to Ice King before. I won't
Benjamin...
cry. I won't. He starts slapping himself again.
Benjamin, like, gives him, like, a weak shoulder pat before he just collapses into the slide.
They
Alright.
follow, making sure that Benjamin doesn't, like, knock his head on anything. And knock himself out.
All right.
Benjamin has decided that Ice King is now one of his heroes, and he wants to be just like the Ice King and all of his other heroes simultaneously when he grows up.
There you go. What about Maymay?
The
You
man
also
has a
just jumping on the
wizard
slide?
eye.
He does have a wizard eye.
I'm following along. I'm in.
All right. So you guys find yourselves rushing along in a slide, even more exciting than any of the ones on Penguin Island. And before long, you come shooting out above water level, not too far away from the pirate boat. And you can see being fished out of the water are 3 pirates. One of them, though, is definitely very pale and looks a whole lot like the one you ran into earlier.
So, Benjamin is going to kind of weakly hoist himself up a little bit. Are we on land, I assume?
Sure.
And he says, "Okay, gang, before we go home, we need to do two things." And he like collapses back to the ground, but can like barely lift like just his forearm with his two little fingers held up. One, we need to let Smee know that some of his men may have become vampirates and to be careful of that. And two, we need to get the seal's boat back to them before we go home.
Yeah.
May, you're in charge. Benjamin is going to pass out.
Hey, May, can you get Mistle Cuddles out and have Mistle Cuddles carry Benjamin to the boat?
Yes. I forget what I do to activate Mr. Snuggles.
I think you just do it however you want. He's kind of like, he's always alive in there, so it's just a matter of wanting him to be big.
Go, Mr. Snuggles.
You just throw him off of your back, and he does like a little backflip as he grows large, lands, and then says, "I love you." So he scoops
Please
up.
carry my friend Benjamin up to the boat.
Anything for you, May.
Thanks, Mr. Snuggles. I can always count on you.
I can always count on you, too. What are friends for? All right, so Mr. Snuggles scoops Benjamin up easily, starts carrying him back towards your boat. So,
Thank you, Mr. Cuddle.
Anytime! Smee hails you from the boat. "Hey there, it seems you were successful. Thank you ever so much for returning my crew. I was dreadfully worried we'd never see them again."
Vampirates!
What?
Vampire pirate!
Pirates! Narwhals!
Oh! Yeah, you did mention the Marwals being pirates. No worries, I've dealt with tougher curses before. We'll bake them in the sun for a few days and they'll be good as new.
Oh, good. I was panicking.
Yeah. I certainly can never thank you enough for having rescued my crew. If you're ever down Pirate Way, make sure to come and see me. I'll try to keep you out of Captain Hook's way.
Thank you, Smee. I'm glad to have made a new friend. And Mr. Snuggles, too.
Me too. You children have been nothing but wonderful since you've arrived here. I imagine you will do great things for Neverland.
Better than that Captain Hook, that's for sure.
Well, do try not to be too loud about that around the crew, but between you and me, I agree.
I hold out my
Benjamin
pinky.
could not be happier about this turn of events.
I hold out my pinky and I say, "Friends forever."
Absolutely, May. He, I mean, he's way off on the boat, but air pinky.
Okay, Alex, what should we do now?
We should return the boat and get Benjamin home.
Alright, so you guys get back on the boat. Easily enough, you're able to navigate back to Seal Island. It's a lot easier to find than this random, crystal floating in the ocean. return their boat. They're all excited to hear your story of what happened, but understand that you need to return quickly. Though they do provide you with a, some fine tuna to bring back to the dream time. Perhaps you can make some nice sushi out of it or some other fish dish. And you then hold hands and repeating the phrase, "There's no place like home" 3 times, you are once again in the Temple of Elements. I'm going to give you an extra 2 mana just for doing so well on that mission. And you guys arrive at the temple as always. Your friends are still floating there peacefully in the beams of light, and the mana comes bursting out of your chests. How much are we going to be using on healing?
Benjamin alone needs 5.
All right.
Oh my god.
And I didn't take any real damage.
Okay.
I need 2.
All right. Do you want to disperse it now, or would you like to wait till next mission to throw these into their elements?
Go ahead and wait.
All right.
Yeah.
And we will go ahead and wrap up here. As always, let's start with Maymay. What has Maymay learned?
Maymay learned that vampires are real and narwhals really are not nice, to her dismay.
Yeah. Also in real life, narwhals are not nice. Evidently, they also smell bad.
Oh no.
In fact, narwhal...
Everything that lives in the water smells bad, doesn't it?
I mean, to some extent. But narwhals, I think it translates to like corpse fish or something like that.
Oh. Yikes. That's really bad.
It means corpse whale. All right. Next up, what has Alex learned?
Alex learned she's really good at keeping her cool when it doesn't come to smells.
It does seem to be the case so far. And what about Benjamin?
And that
What is...
he has no soul.
Exactly. No heart, no soul.
Just a really good nose.
All right. What about Benjamin? What has he learned?
Benjamin has learned that even though sometimes when you feel out of your depth and you don't have a plan, sometimes your new best friend is waiting for you just on the other side and you just have to try. Wizard eyes sucking your soul out be darned.
Yeah, you have to go back and get some ninja training at some point.
Benjamin would love to get ninja training from him.
Alrighty, well, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you all had a good game. I know I did, and I will see you all at the next one.